What's the best way to figure out how much water is 1 inch of water per week for the lawn? Great question. So you can measure it. So the best way is just to measure it. Some people will say, you run your irrigation system for this amount of time, and the problem with that is, depending on the nozzle that's in your irrigation head, depending on the water pressure in your area, depending on how many irrigation heads you have on a given zone, all those factors will drastically change how much water is put out on a given section of the lawn in a given period of time. So the best way, or the most accurate way, is to just do the tuna can test. So get yourself a set of tuna cans, lay them out in, say, the zone you're trying to measure, and then run it. And then whenever the cans, because tuna cans are about an inch or so, when they fill up, then however long you ran that for is an inch. If you get like halfway, which is really what I'd recommend, then you're at half an inch, and then for that particular zone, you know how long you have to run it to put out that much, that a half an inch or an inch of water. So the only real way to know for sure is to calibrate it, and you do that on your particular lawn with your irrigation system in that particular zone. Um, if you're going to do this, what I would try and push you towards doing is, instead of seeing how long it takes your system to put out an inch, like measure out like half an inch or so, because really, not saying all lawns can't do, but most lawns, as far as irrigation goes, you'd be better off running your irrigation like running your irrigation, like, say, two heavy cycles, 4 days or so apart, than just one really heavy cycle, with an inch of water in a week. Because most lawns, unless you got like a lawn that's very flat, that can hold an inch of water, in one go, most people tend to waste quite a bit of water from, when they try and do that, but from runoff. So a good example, like my front lawn, there's no way I can put out an inch of water in one time. Like, I really can't do much more than a tenth to a quarter an inch of water in one go. A quarter inch is really getting it if I'm lucky. So even when I run the irrigation system, run a cycle, my front lawn gets the cycle run twice. It runs 10 minutes, and then the rest of the lawn runs, and it comes back and runs the front lawn again for another 10 minutes. Because of the slope, that's all the water I really could put on it in one go without just wasting a bunch of water and runoff. So while knowing how long it takes your particular irrigation system to put out an inch of water is one thing, also looking at your lawn and saying, depending on the type of soil you have like, say, a clay soil. Clay absorbs water quite a bit slower than, say, like a sandy soil. So you look at all those factors and say, even if I could put out an inch at one time, will my lawn take this? Am I already just wasting a lot of water?